Well, good afternoon, everyone. We are excited to have you join us today for this very applicable topic around alternative or alt data. I hope you and your family are all well and safe. I'm Melvin Tan. I join S&P Global Market Intelligence to lead, as well as provide the focus for the company's data management products and solutions in the region. As an enterprise product lead, I'm responsible for the development and execution of our product strategy and managing the product lifecycle for our core fundamental contents, alternative data strategies, go to market, and develop channels and partnerships as well as strategic alliances. Presenting with me today is my colleague Andre. Andre, would you like to take a moment to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Melvin. I'm happy to share the stage with you today to give a brief overview of what we have in terms of alternative data and also the analytics that we can build on top of that. My name is Andreas Darmawan. I'm an Asia Pacific product specialist based in Tokyo, Japan.
We have a packed agenda lined up for you today for a limited time to explain how users of alt data can navigate through the challenges and data wrangling to uncover insights. Subsequently, my colleague Andre will demonstrate some of the use cases and the applications of our textual data suite in transcripts and also our China sentiment analytics data set. In light of time, I won't be going through each of these individually. Essentially, fast-growing mobile data traffic, cloud computing, as well as rapid development in technologies such as artificial intelligence, AI, Internet of Things, all contribute to the increasing volume and complexity of data sets. An interesting fact I would like to share with some of you today, about 20 to 25 years ago, 1 terabyte of data would be the equivalent of a private jet. That's a whole jet in terms of a cost perspective. In today's terms, 1 terabyte is about 10 bucks on Apple and about half of that on Amazon. The availability of data, we believe 90% of the world's data was just created in the last 2 years. A company research called IDC predicts that the world data will grow to about 175 zettabytes by the time 2025. Here's another interesting fact. If you were to store 175 zettabytes on DVDs, for those that can remember what those are, your stack of DVDs would take about 222 times to circle around the Earth. If you were to attempt to download 175 zettabytes at an average of the current internet connection, that would take you about 1.8 billion years. From a tools and programming language perspective, as we all know, advanced analytics tools such as predictive analytics, data mining, helps us to extract value from data and generate business insights. It is stated in upwards of 80% of today's data are unstructured, and these are typically in the form of text. As companies look to take advantage of the growing area of information, technological advances such as natural language processing or NLP and other AI and machine learning tools now makes it more viable than ever. Alternative data or alt data can be considered as unexplored data that isn't inside the domain of traditional data sources. For example, company filings, official statements, as well as management reporting. The alt data market is expected to grow in excess of 11 billion US dollars by the time we hit 2026. I don't have to tell you the growing importance of alternative data and its application. I'm sure many of you are experiencing these in your current work life as well as personal lives. The increasing significance of alt data and its use have been amplified as a result of events over the past couple of years, including COVID, supply chain disruptions, trade policies, to name a few. This was backed up by numerous research and surveys out there, which also highlights the decentralization of workforce contributing to the need of alternative data. So the word is alternative data is very much here to stay. It is critical for companies and firms to have a plan to activate their data assets and to remain competitive and ahead of their competitors. I would like to sort of begin by quickly highlighting a few of the challenges which clients often share with me when we are discussing their data or alternative data strategy, data procurement process, as well as use cases, which I'm sure that many of you are very familiar with. I've highlighted a few of those here today. These include reliability and timeliness of data. Time is everything. Having actionable insights and before your competitors is critical to maintaining your competitive advantage. Internal capabilities and domain expertise of using data is also critical. For example, how do you grapple and handle multiple languages, and how is textual data structured and presented? On point 3, around data processing, cleansing, and structuring, as well as point 5, linking of around primary IDs and identifiers, and to fundamental data sets. Perhaps this could be termed as data wrangling, which firms spend a lot of time doing themselves. In a research conducted by our 451 research team, it is believed that data analysts spend in excess of 40% of their time processing and structuring data. So you have to ask yourself this, is this a good use of their time? I want to spend a minute to explain to you how S&P have incorporated technology and data to develop our capabilities and data assets. And that includes our textual, sentiment analytics, as well as our ESG suite of solutions. Just some background on the technology itself, that's critical part of our textual data suite. With the acquisition of Kensho Technology a few years back, we have focused on developing solutions to further S&P's digital transformation efforts. This has greatly increased our efficiency in key areas and have proven internal use cases subsequently. Kensho's suite of AI-enabled capabilities have played a significant role in developing data solutions, including structuring unstructured assets, which is critical for textual data, linking of company identifiers, automating speech recognition, ML, and NLP to develop sentiment analytics. On point 3 around processing as well as cleansing and transforming data, my colleague Andre will point this out more so in his demo within Marketplace. Our curated suite of alternative data provides clients a reliable source of additional information. Third-party data providers are vetted by our in-house quantitative research team, and the due diligence and data sourcing process allows our clients to cut down a lot of noise prior to delivering insights to a lot of our clients to utilize. This process of data validation could take in excess of about 3 months, even before clients start doing any work on trying to derive insights from the data itself. We do this heavy lifting on behalf of our clients. And I want to quickly demonstrate to you some of the insights that are derived from alternative data that are demonstrated on the chart to the right. Many organizations are using alternative data to increase their sales volume, some of which are using it for risk management purposes, as well as reducing some of their exposure as a result of supply chain disruptions. So the application of alternative data is not just vertically deep, but also horizontally and functionally across all organizations. So one question I'll ask you is, where is all this data coming from? It is mind-boggling to think how much humans are creating data. Take a moment to think about how much data you're generating on average every day. Every interaction you're making with your computer creates data. Every interaction you're going on social media creates data. Every time you walk down the street with your mobile phone in your pocket, it's tracking your location through GPS sensors. It is creating data. So every time you stream songs and movies, it is also creating data. The silver lining is here is the world's data is the result of an increasing digitized way of our lives. The connectivity of modern devices, not just smartphones, smart TVs, as well as smart household gadgets and so on, also plays a huge role in providing alternative data. In a recent statistics that I picked up that I would like to share with you, Google processes in excess of 3.8 million searches every minute. And it's about 5.6 billion searches every day. Um, that's a lot. That's a lot of searches, and that's on average about 1.73 billion average people log into Facebook every day, and that's about 21% of the world's population. So if you think about it, 48% of the world's population now own mobiles. So from a data perspective, alternative data can span across vertically, horizontally across in terms of ESG data. But however, as you can see from the alternative data offering from our end, we also go vertically deep into industry data such as insurance, energy, as well as metals and mining. Some of the niche data sets includes permit and patent trademark data. We also provide supply chain data in our Panjiva offering, transaction data, events, as well as sentiment data, to name a few. On that note, I'd like to pass it over to Andre to demonstrate how our machine readable data sets, including textual data suite offering, as well as China's sentiment analytics data set, help our clients gain better insights to manage their investments, including risk management, beginning with data discovery of our differentiated data, robust solution, and flexible delivery on our S&P Global Marketplace. Thereafter, he will deep dive into analysis utilizing our Workbench analytical tool.
Thank you for the great introduction of what alternative data means for our clients right now, Melvin. So we will start our demo on our newly launched marketplace web platform. So this platform is basically like our online digital catalog that basically showcases all the database, the data sets that we offer in a feed format. So to take advantage of this platform fully, so I suggest that you take a little bit of time and then try to register to have full access to like a lot of the eye candies, like the visualizations, the sample data, etc. So basically, we have already break down this welcome page into like a few trending data sets, also like alternative data sets. So since like our focus today is going to be alternative data sets, when you click on here, you can see all the different data sets that we categorize as alternative data. So you can see like our tax related data, you can see our ESG data as well, and as well as like a deep dive data into like, for example, some very niche world of metals and mining, as well as potentially some real estate data, weather data as well. So just to showcase like one of the data set that we already offered to our clients recently, and then this is also like a type of data set that a lot of our clients are looking is sentiment scores and behavioral metrics data. So we call this data offering textual data analytics. So we built this analytics data on top of our other offerings, which is like the transcripts data that we collect from global earnings calls data that includes not just the executive presentations, but also the analyst Q&A part, basically. So we apply natural language processing technology on top of that data set to come up with this data analytics. So, and we, instead of just showcasing what is a data set usually within this marketplace, we also show you like some of the resources that you can use in order to understand the data set further. For example, like for this textual data analytics data, you can refer to our previous publications by our quantum metal research team. So I recommend you to read this NLP part 1, part 2, and part 3 as an intro primer to your NLP journey. So within this data set web page itself, you can see, like, for example, if you want to know what is the coverage of the data, you can check the overview page. And then you can, when you keep scrolling down, for example, here on the visualization page, you can see, like, okay, to validate whether sentiment, the way we built sentiment is correct, you can refer to this like a time series of the sentiment. So you can, we are using, looking at Russell 3000 index, and as you can see, back in 2008, 2009, where there was the global financial crisis, you can see that the sentiment scores dipped down. And then again, when the COVID-19 strikes in early 2020, you can see that we have a dip again in sentiment score, which validates that this data analytics is telling what is showing in the real world. So we always recommend for you to, when you, especially when you're new working with alternative data, to actually utilize visualization tools. You can actually nowadays you can utilize something like Tableau or even like Microsoft Power BI to understand the characteristics of the data better before you move into more programmatical type of work. So when we go, keep scrolling down again, if you want to know, okay, how can I implement this data within my workflow? We give you like a view of the sample data of, like, okay, what types of columns are over there, what types of data uh, are available, as well as the data dictionary for you to understand, okay, what is available, what is the definition of analytics, for example, selectivity ratio and so on. Okay. So for the similar like sentiment data, we also offer something for China market as well. So we also collect like a text data from many public filings in China, and we apply our machine learning natural language processing to come up with a sentiment analytics. So I will showcase the capability for two companies in China. So one is a public company, which is a Hainan Airlines, and the other one is a Dandong Port Group. So from both of these PowerPoint slides, you can see the y-axis represents the sentiment score, the x-axis represents the date, and you can see basically where the sentiment turns from negative to positive. So when uh, there are more negative news, you can see like the trend of the graph will point downwards. But while there are like more positive news, you can see like the algorithm correctly basically predicts that the sentiment keeps going up. So for the next platform demo, I would like to showcase our latest release. It's called the Workbench. So Workbench, this is basically our effort in order to help our clients quickly able to access our data and also uh, build analytics on top of the data set. So basically, this Workbench is a online platform. This is a combination of a cloud-hosted database, which basically contains most of the data sets that we are offering through ExpressFeed, as well as basically the ability to use to connect this database directly into your programming language such as SQL as well as Python. So in order to showcase that, let me showcase like what we can build, for example, like here in a database called Scripts Asia, which offers basically earnings call transcripts for Asia Pacific companies, with mostly concentrated coverage right now is in Japan, but Scripps Asia is expanding rapidly their coverage into other part of Asia Pacific like China and also like Southeast Asia. So for example, here we can start by writing a SQL query to pull the data, and then instead of like writing SQL query, saving the result into flat file and bringing it into a different platform for analysis, you can right away continue this notebook and start writing your Python code to come up with your word cloud at the end of the day in Japanese language itself. And for the next showcase of our platform capability, we will showcase you what we call Panjiva dataset. So Panjiva dataset is a dataset that basically we collect from customs around the countries that we cover. So this is basically a bill of lading shipping logistics data that contains something like basically the shipper information and who is the receiver information, as well as some information on like, okay, how much does the shipping weight, how many containers, and in some countries where it's required by the customs, you can actually see like the transactional values of the shipment. So similarly, we will start by pulling data by using SQL. And instead of going out of this platform into a different analytic platform, I will keep writing a Python code on top of that SQL data, pull the Panjiva, the actual Panjiva data, to come up with this table data. So the goal of this analysis is I would like to build a network graph that showcases like the potentially the supply chain of this data set that I'm showcasing right now. So what I'm trying to show is I'm trying to build a network graph of US automobile manufacturers companies. So by applying using the Python programming language and the packages available, we can build something, a network graph in 2 dimension like this. But again, since we're talking about logistics information, there will be like too many nodes and it will clutter the chart right away. So instead of just sticking into 2-dimensional, so I would like to invite you into a more advanced analytics, into a 3-dimensional network graph analysis. Again, everything is still using natively within this workbench and using the Python packages available. We can come up with something different that looks like this. So when you build a network graph within in 3-dimensional, you're able to do rotational in different axes that you want, and you can to help you visualize and analyze this graph better. For example, right away we can see there are 5 clusters, which represents like 5 different major companies in US manufacturers. So we can see here's your Tesla, here's your Aptiv, this is BorgWarner, this is Ford Motor, and this one is GM, basically. And by using network graph, you can easily identify common nodes between 2 clusters, which in this supply chain analysis can represent potentially the same suppliers of 2 different companies. For example, here, between Tesla and GM, we can identify right away that Hyundai Rotem in South Korea, Suzhou Fox Electronics in China, and LG Electronics are their common suppliers. You can also do an investigation whether company A is connected to company B by using path analysis, which you can do by using this very simple command of short to simple path. Specify the 2 different identifiers you want to analyze, and you will come up with all the possible paths between company A into company B. In this case, this is between Tesla and General Motors. Basically, you can see there can be like just 1 hop between the 2 companies, or it can be multiple hops relationship as well. Okay, so I would like to close this presentation over here. So again, and speaking on behalf of Melvin, I would like to thank you all for listening today. So now we are opening the floors for questions and answers.
Hey, sorry for that, everyone. I guess like Melvin is having a network issue. So let me just repeat what Melvin was saying in terms of questions. Like our first question basically was saying what segments and which data sets or types of alternative data have been the most popular. So from working with the sales representatives and our relationship managers, obviously the year 2021 has been the year of ESG dataset. ESG dataset has been like our most popular offerings. It's like more and more clients are, whether from the company side that will have to do their disclosure, or even from the asset management clients that has to do reporting on their portfolio holdings in terms of like sustainability and stuff and such. So we have had a lot of inquiries on those. So the second most popular data set will be our textual data. So for example, like a lot of people are asking for our transcripts data, as well as like currently like some of our clients also would like to analyze further, or like, for example, like 10K, 10Qs data. So we know that within a lot of vendors' financial data, most of the data sets, like most of the numbers has already been mined by using like a special algorithm. But sometimes like, the management discussion part, which basically comprises of all text sentences, has not been analyzed that often. So basically, usually an analyst will have to go through the filing themselves and read them manually. So, but right now, since we are able to offer 10K and 10Q data as well in a very nice standardized database format. We can also basically deliver it to our clients, and for our clients to apply some NLP algorithms on top of that and gain some like sentiments on what types of direction that the management is trying to bring for the next 1 or 2 quarters from that particular earning calls, basically. All right. So we also got like questions in terms of visualization tools. There's a question in terms of visualization tools. Do you think Tableau is probably the most useful overall tool? Are there other tools you recommend? So from my experience, there is no silver bullet for every data set, unfortunately. So you will have to experiment with many different, or you have to actually work with a lot of different visualization tools. For example, like Tableau is very strong if you're trying to do like, for example, like map a data set, visualizing a data set that is overlaid on top of a map, or like a bar chart, something like that. But I know that Tableau is, when you try to create word cloud using Tableau, your word cloud will look like maybe potentially your niece or nephew in kindergarten created that word cloud. So for like more advanced text analysis and also like network graph that I just showed earlier, so I recommend to use like more like a Python. And basically there are a lot of sample codes out there in GitHub that you can just like, use as a reference to produce your simple word cloud, or even like more advanced like NLP analysis. And another interesting tools that I found so far is called Alteryx. Alteryx is not a free tool, so similar to Tableau. It's a subscription based, but within Alteryx itself, you can actually do like data manipulations that is missing in a lot of visualization tools. So for example, like everything will be GUI based, and you have the options also to go into using Python code or R code as well from Alteryx. So please do check that out. And don't discount Microsoft Power BI. So Power BI I found is very good in creating like network graphs as well. So for example, if you want to make, again, like the Panjiva dataset network graph, or you just want to create like, for example, like one to many, many to many network graph, again, Power BI is very, very, very powerful in that context. All right, so we have another question here. Can you contrast using publicly available data, web crawling, to the curated data contained within the marketplace in terms of time to market and end results? So basically, I think it really depends on, okay, are you finished? Sorry, I think we ran off the time, so we can definitely potentially answer that questions separately. Okay.